Hello, everyone, and welcome to OCDTV's Night at the Theater. I'm Keith Martin, alongside Jamie Horton and Maxie Davidson.
Hello.
So tonight we are talking about our favorite musicals, either stage, television, movies. We're also going to maybe talk about some of our least favorites, things that we think weren't very good. Usually those are remakes or something like that. So I'm going to get us off started with one of my favorites. Actually, right before the show here, we were just singing it. Is Jesus Christ Superstar. Great. Just one of my favorites. I saw, I've seen it on, not on Broadway, obviously, but like I've seen it in Providence. And the movie, obviously, is great. It's one of those things where, if you had one of those dream roles to play, I always wanted to be Pontius Pilate in that one. So what do you guys got? Which ones, what are some of your favorites?
Okay. One of my favorites, I'm not a fan of the movie, but the original Broadway show of The Producers is one of my favorite musicals.
Oh, I love The Producers. I like the movie, though, because I do like Matthew Broderick and Nathan Lane.
Well, no, it was great seeing them together again. It just, I felt like the charm of the Broadway musical didn't fully translate to film. And like things that I'm like, oh, I remember laughing out loud in the theater at when I saw it on film, I was like,
not that funny.
Yeah, and I wish they had Katie Hoffman or someone who could sing and dance as Ula instead of Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
But I love that they got Roger Bart and a whole bunch of like the original Broadway cast to do it, except for they had Will Ferrell, who wasn't bad, as Hans Liebken, I think was the Nazi who wrote Springtime for Hitler, and they didn't have Katie Hoffman or someone to play Ula.
Right.
But that's one of my favorites. I love Kiss Me Kate.
Oh,
that's a very fun musical.
Kate. Yeah.
Singing in the Rain is one of my favorite movie musicals, if not my favorite. Great choreography, great songs, great everything. Trying to think with other filmed ones. A lot of the classic. I love the MGM Golden Era.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like with Seven Brides for Seven Brothers and like Oklahoma, and The King and I, Fiddler. Fiddler's so great.
Yeah. The King. I love The King and I.
The King and I is wonderful.
Yeah. No. And Yul Brynner. Amazing.
Who won a Tony and an Oscar for that same role.
Yes.
As did Rex Harrison in My Fair Lady.
Musical theater isn't really like my wheelhouse, but I've seen a few on the stage and in the cinema and on TV. So I don't know, I like what I like. So out of what I liked, both on the stage and I think the film version, Stephen Sondheim's Into the Woods. I thought it's an uneven work, and I know it's not a great work, but it's one of my favorites. I just like the songs; they're very catchy. I like all the big characters. It's just fun. It connects with me on an esoteric level. Yeah,
I've only actually seen the movie version of it.
Yeah, me too.
It's pretty good. I enjoyed the music's funny. And the songs are good. Johnny Depp creeps me out in pretty much everything he's in. So
which is fine because the big bad wolf is supposed to be supposed to be preying on little girls.
Well, Johnny Depp in general has always creeped me out.
Really?
Yes. Never really liked Johnny Depp.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, he's not quite the box office draw anymore.
No.
Yeah,
he got in trouble, but
he's pretty horrible now.
That happens. Well, welcome to Hollywood.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm not jaded, not at all. Coming back to some of my favorites, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one of the granddaddies of modern musical theater, Phantom of the Opera.
So good. I want to see that on stage so bad.
I've seen it like 5 times.
I know, and I'm really jealous of you because I want to see the chandelier.
But unfortunately, the movie is terrible.
It's a great looking film.
Yeah, it looks great, but
the vocal performances are wildly uneven.
Well, yeah, because the Emmy Rossum, who plays Christine, does really well, and
Gerard Butler?
Yeah, Gerard Butler, not so much.
But he had like a rock voice instead of like a musical theater
Yeah,
voice,
but-
so it wasn't awful. It was just a different version of
And
the
that got
Phantom.
the blessing from the writer, right?
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah, I'm
He
sure
was
it
there.
did, but I think my biggest problem with that one was that they took certain scenes that I really, really loved and really like changed them or wrecked them.
Yeah, I can see that.
And obviously, since it's a movie, it's not split into 2 acts, so they had to move things around. Like the chandelier falls at the end of the first act.
Oh, I don't think I realized that.
Yes, that's a very important thing because they come back in one of the songs in Masquerade at the very beginning of the song.
Oh, to the new chandelier.
They talk about a new chandelier
That's
because
right.
at the end of
And
the
it
first
makes,
act.
and it makes no sense in the movie.
Right,
Okay.
right, because
I thought they were
there's no
just
new
like,
chandelier in
I
the
thought they were
first
just
in the
like,
movie.
oh, look.
Yeah,
Look at
to
our
a
new
prosperous
chandelier.
year, to the new chandelier. Yeah,
Oh,
but,
man.
Yeah, and so, and then one of my favorite scenes in the whole play is the graveyard scene. When Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again's a song, but after that, when I'm going to say his name because I know it, Eric comes out and confronts Christine and Raoul, and that scene's really cool, and they turned it into like a sword fight
Yeah.
in the movie, and it kind of cheapens like in the play. He's up on top of a mausoleum, and he's using magic tricks. He's like shooting fireballs at Raoul.
Oh.
He's taunting him from up there because, hey, guess what? You can't get me. I'm going to taunt you. And he's talking trash.
Yeah.
And then they run away.
Right, because the character Eric has this background in like assassination skills and theater, so it's like, yes, he wouldn't engage in like a broadsword battle or a rapier battle.
He's not going to get in a sword fight with the guy. He's going to do tricksy things.
I was a little disappointed by the special effects makeup in the movie.
Yeah, no, he was
Yeah,
not
it
hideous
wasn't-
enough at all.
I think even when I saw that in theaters, I was like, oh. No, I'd still date him.
Bit of
There's
a
nothing wrong
second
with
degree
that.
burn. As well.
Have you ever,
Yeah.
Did either of you see Love Never Dies?
That's
No,
the
I have
sequel
no
now.
interest in seeing that. Is it good? or
No.
is it-
It was
Oh, okay,
bad.
good.
No.
I'm glad I didn't.
No.
Okay, I'm glad I avoided that.
No, it's terrible. Absolutely horrible.
I heard it feels like fan fiction.
Yes, it
Oh,
very
no.
much fanfic. Yeah, it's terrible, and it makes no sense. It's just
Does Eric and Christine have a child?
yes,
together, right?
they do,
Okay.
which isn't
Ew.
totally out of the way because there's a book which I own if anyone wants to borrow it called Phantom, and it goes from Eric's birth all the way up through the musical.
Oh, okay.
And things like that happen at the end. But
Oh.
but yeah. So, but it's a really cool book. It's very interesting,
I read
especially like his early life stuff.
I read the translation of the book that the musical is based
Right,
on.
yes,
And there's
the-
a lot more background stuff
Yes.
about Eric growing up in, I think he's in Persia, but he's like taught to be like this child assassin.
Oh yeah, he ends up going to Persia in the other book that I'm talking about. Yeah, he ends up going there because he's born in France,
Yeah.
and then he gets put into like a freak show when he's a kid, and then he escapes from there, ends up in Persia, and becomes like this architect to like this queen there or whatever.
That's right.
And he designs like this nasty maze of mirrors thing for her, like as a torture device thing. It's nuts. And he does all kinds of
Hence, like all the traps that he sets up
Right, yeah.
underneath the theater.
Right, yeah.
Do
And,
they-
and the Punjab lasso.
Yes, and all the secret entrances and exits that he creates in the theater.
Do they I know the meaning of it, but do they reference in the Broadway show to keep your hand at the level of your eyes?
Yes, it's
okay.
for the Punjab
they did
lasso.
not, and they didn't do that in the movie.
Right,
They
which
just
is why it
said,
seems-
Well, because Madame Giry tells him about
keep
it.
your hand at the level, but she doesn't really like.
Yeah, no, well, yeah,
explain what it was.
She spent, well, in the show, you see him do it because she says, do this,
Mm-hmm.
and then Meg tells him the Punjab lasso. Because she says, she's like, keep your hands at the level of your eyes. He's like, but why? And she's like, the Punjab lasso, monsieur. She's not like this, because obviously if he throws the lasso over your head,
Right, it
And
won't
you get your
immediately
hand here,
strangle him.
He
Yeah.
won't strangle you, and of course he forgets to do it and gets trapped. But yes, that's our review of Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, the Phantom. Great song.
So we could probably talk another hour on that one, but I'm going to move on. to one of my other favorites. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Pippin.
I've seen bits and pieces of Pippin.
Oh my God, you must see Pippin.
I saw that a few years back at
Fosse choreographed it.
the Beth Bourne Auditorium. So I
Okay.
saw it performed by high school students, but I
was
still
in it in
enjoyed
high school, and it was amazing.
Nice.
I mainly know we've got magic to do.
That's the opening
just
number.
for you. Well, that's what I know.
I know, it's great. On YouTube, you can just search it, and there's a Canadian production of it that they did in early 80s. You can find it on there. William Catt is Pippin from Greatest American Hero.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Really?
Yeah. Ben Vereen is
Of course.
is
He's in
leading
it.
player.
My dude Ben Vereen. Love him.
Martha Ray is in it as Bertha. There's some other famous people in there. But you can find that on YouTube. And it's
How about your performance in Pippin? Is that on YouTube?
probably not.
I would be more interested in that.
1992,
There must be a tape somewhere.
maybe.
I'll have to find that too.
Is that a John Sullivan production?
No, it was a Peter Crosby production. While John was away making
Page Master?
Disney movies. Page Master.
Yes.
Yes. So, no, I was in The Hobbit by
Yes.
John Sullivan.
I was in The Hobbit years later in 2000.
You played
I was
a
little
lake
hobbit.
man?
I was a lakeman, yes.
And I was a little hobbit
Yes.
with hairy feet.
Mike Welch was Gollum.
Nice.
All of my viewer here has no idea who that is, but we do.
You know.
30 white horses
Mike
atop
Welch.
a red hill for such a funny stomp, very slow.
So, any other musicals that you guys?
Well, when you
want to
brought
talk
up Phantom of the Opera, I was reminded of other gothic horror musicals. So,
Sure.
of course, we have to talk about Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street.
Of course.
about? I've never seen it.
What?
Really good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Actually, the Tim Burton version is not half bad.
Yep.
They leave some
Oh,
stuff
Tim
out, but
Burton.
it's not too bad. But you know, you don't
No,
like
this is back when Tim
Johnny
Burton was like
Creative?
still a name that was respected.
I don't hate Tim Burton. I mean, there's some stuff I like. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Beetlejuice, but
But you don't like
he
his kind
gets
of creepy
really
aesthetic.
creepy.
But you like gothic horror, though.
Yeah,
So
a little bit. Yeah.
It's just a celebration of just like bloody gothic horror.
Okay.
Deb. It's very bloody. Just a whole bunch of throats being slit.
Helena Bonham Carter is Mrs. Lovett.
It's a Tim Burton movie, of course.
Of course, Helena's in it.
Helena's in it, and Johnny Depp's probably in it.
He's Sweeney
I
Todd.
know he is.
Actually, he has less traditional vocals in that. Just
has
like
more
Gerard
rock.
Butler is more like the rock vocals as opposed to like the more traditional operatic vocals in Phantom. Johnny Depp is more like there isn't like the powerful vibrato. There's like the raspier rock vocals, but it works definitely for the character who is slowly going insane.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Helena
expect anyone to be Michael Crawford. I mean,
Well,
Or
except
Len Cariou.
Michael Crawford.
But and Helena Bonham Carter has an okay voice in it. But her performance otherwise was really good. Just
The really
her
strong
singing was
Cockney
just
accent.
her singing was just like, meh.
Right. Yeah, and that's a
That's a
role
shame.
that where you really need a very strong character and an attitude and just a big voice.
Yeah.
And so she was probably miscast. Well, we know why she was cast because
Yeah.
She
she was
with-
dating the director
Yeah.
and had 2 children by the
Anymore.
director.
Not anymore though. So sad.
Obviously, other big time musicals mostly from the 80s and stuff, but obviously something like Les Mis.
Still one of the biggest.
Yeah,
I'd
it's still
say.
out there, still going. The movie's not bad.
I like the movie.
With
Hugh Jackman.
yes, that's what I was thinking of.
And
Speaking
Anne
of-
Hathaway, Eddie Redmayne.
Miscasting, of course, Russell Crowe.
Oh, that was, yeah.
His vocals are not
Yeah,
impressive.
he's not a very good.
He was the one, because everybody else in it was fantastic. And Eddie Redmayne has this beautiful voice. Amanda Seyfried has a beautiful
Yeah.
voice. Anne Hathaway was a great Fatine, but she was great. And yeah, Javert
Yeah.
should not have been Russell Crowe.
I mean,
As much as I love him,
almost fit the character because he's the stoic soldier type,
Right.
but at the same time,
you need a singer.
it's a musical.
Yeah, you need
Either
people who can
redub his
sing.
voice,
Yeah.
like they should have done in the live action Beauty and the Beast
they
with
should have
Belle,
had a singer.
or cast someone that can act and sing equally well.
Wait, who couldn't sing in Beauty and the Beast?
Emma Watson.
That wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't.
It didn't hurt.
She was auto-tuned too.
Yeah,
It's pretty
like it was
noticeable.
in the
Okay.
first like few seconds when she's like, "Little town, it's a
Yeah.
quiet village." You're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, it didn't.
But she was fine. She was
she's
wonderful.
okay.
She was
wasn't
lovely.
bad.
Did a good job. I mean,
She A for effort.
she did the job. She's
She
fine.
did it.
She's fine. She's fine.
But there is one movie that I think resurrected the movie musical, and you have it on your list.
Would that be Moulin Rouge?
It would be Moulin Rouge.
Oh, God, I hated that movie.
Okay,
Classic.
but you can hate it all you want,
is the-
but it resurrected the movie musical because
God.
there really weren't any for a while. Moulin Rouge came out, and then you had Phantom of the Opera and Hairspray and Rent and Chicago. Chicago won Best Picture.
Chicago's wonderful.
Chicago is
Love
wonderful.
I love Chicago.
But it's because of Moulin Rouge that it showed that people were still interested. Relax. That people still loved musicals. That they were financing all these musicals to be made.
Jamie knows me enough to know, like, I actually started to watch Moulin Rouge with Liz, and we had to shut it off. And that's, I mean, I was like,
Fun though.
I was like,
What song was the
I don't know.
the straw that
Oh,
broke the
it
camel's
was a
back?
long time ago.
You gotta try it again.
No.
Ewan McGregor has such a wonderful
So much
voice.
garbage.
It's not garbage.
Hot garbage.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a la boheme.
Heart flaming garbage.
No. Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah,
It's a
no.
sort of a
We just
Romeo
didn't-
and Juliet
Yeah,
type
we
of
didn't
story,
like it,
but it's,
so we were like, yeah, click. And that doesn't, with me, that's hard to do. I can sit through a lot of bad movies.
I don't know. I like the montage of different pop songs and how it's just. There's no reason for it. It's just enjoyable to me. I can't. When I try to explain Moulin Rouge, like, I feel like I can't properly convey why I like it.
It's entertaining.
It's
That's
yeah.
why.
It's just entertaining. It's not deep. It's not going to move your entire world or change your worldview. It's not an original story, certainly.
No.
And it doesn't have like an original soundtrack for the most part, but it's just,
Except for Come What May.
yes, Come What May is
Come
excellent.
What May is original.
Ewan McGregor is a fantastic
I like Ewan
singer.
McGregor. I
Who
mean-
knew?
He was great in it. He has one of the most realistic man cries in a movie. At the very, very end.
Still bad.
We saw the Broadway preview in Boston.
So, ironically, it was a film musical that was adapted for the stage. Normally, it's the other way around.
What I'm getting excited for, and I'm gonna get to go see it next year.
Are
Makes me
you
so happy.
seeing
Hamilton.
Nice.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So that's one of the big ones around my house right now. Is Hamilton is huge because what Liz does with Fantastic Getaways. It's a travel group takes seniors on trips, and they do a lot of theater trips.
Aw,
Look it up on the internet. Shameless plug.
like right here.
She's a sponsor.
Sponsored by Fantastic Getaways. So I do get to go to some shows every now and again because Liz will have to escort a tripper now and again. So I get to go see some stuff. So we're going to get to go see Hamilton, which is going to be awesome.
What's great about that musical is
fun.
it's getting kids
People-
interested in American
Yeah.
history.
Well, yeah, like Jenna, I mean, she's like super into Hamilton and like American history and like the Revolution, just totally like buried in it now. It's insane.
That's awesome.
The other ones that are big in my house right now are Waitress.
I want to see that.
Liz saw it. She loved it. She loves that. And the music's pretty good.
Sarah Bareilles did the music.
I listened to it. It's pretty good. I like that one. And Dear Evan Hansen's another one.
I've heard that's
new
really
one.
good.
Yep, that's another one I get to hear a lot at home. And Liz really likes that one a lot.
Musicals are just fun to listen to. Like,
Oh, yeah.
just when you're working or in the car and just want to pass the time and
yeah.
just sing along. Of course, you look like a crazy person to the cars going by.
Yeah.
I was once singing Chicago on the highway, and somebody passed. I was singing like "Once They're Good to Mama, Mama's Good to You," and somebody legit, like when they passed me, they looked out their window to look back at me because I was like, "Once They're Good to Mama," and they were like, "What?"
What the
and I'm like,
heck are you
I'm like,
doing?
singing Chicago. It's a great song.
I've got Labyrinth in my car.
I was,
That's a musical, right?
yeah.
Kinda, yeah, sorta.
Even though Jennifer
Is-
Connelly has no songs,
Right.
It's just like all the villains have
David
songs.
Bowie
All the
has a song.
goblins
David Bowie
and the
has-
monsters and
yeah.
David Bowie, the Goblin King, have songs. But
Well, you couldn't
I would still say
you
it's a
couldn't
musical.
have David Bowie in the movie and
And
not
not
let him
have him
sing.
sing.
I mean, that'd be insane.
Well, he's in The Hunger and doesn't sing.
But it's a
He's in
it's a
the Twin Peaks movie, Fire Walk with Me. He
I'm not
doesn't
saying like
sing.
every movie that he has to be in, he has to sing. But if there's gonna be music,
If there's gonna be a
you're
song,
gonna have
you
him
gotta
sing,
That's true.
especially
have
as
him
the
sing.
world falls down.
Right.
Beautiful song.
Beautiful song. Inspired a beautiful masquerade ball.
It really
Yeah. It did.
did. Wonderful. And of course, Disney musicals
Yes.
Oh yeah.
are some of the most.
That's.
But I feel like Frozen is like the most Broadway musical of all their animated features. Like the songs seem bigger. The way the scenes are staged, it seems more like you're watching this on a stage. I don't know.
It is good, but
Yeah,
you know
maybe.
which one actually I think has the best music in it? Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes.
Yes.
I
Even
think
though that's, I think that's a criminally underrated movie.
It is. I think Hellfire is one of the best Disney songs.
It's a
That's
great
one of my
song, yeah.
favorites.
Very powerful.
Might not belong in a children's animated film, but it is fabulous.
Well, I don't think Hunchback should really be considered a children's animated
Yeah.
film. It has some really deep subtext going on
Yeah.
that goes right ahead to the little children. But
They should have gone like
good.
hard PG, PG-13, whatever it needed to be. Because there was obviously someone on the writing team that wanted to make like a more mature Disney film.
Yeah.
And then there was, maybe the writers that had a little bit of cold feet about it. Put in the silly gargoyle
the gargoyles,
characters.
yeah, exactly.
And it's fun for what it is, but it's totally all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they made it have a happy ending
Yeah.
instead of like everyone dying. Like,
Well, though, is it a happy ending? Because
Not-
guess what? The hero,
yeah.
not the real hero, but the other hero,
The one who's not a hunchback
Gets the
girl, not Quasi.
They corrected that in the crappy made-for-video sequel.
Oh yeah, whatever.
I'm just saying.
He gets Jennifer Love
He
Hewitt
gets a
in that
different
one.
girl. He doesn't get Esmeralda though.
Yeah, he doesn't get her. But yeah, Beauty and the Beast, big one.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid, big
Yeah.
one.
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
I love the music from Aladdin.
Oh, Aladdin
that's
is one
great.
of my favorites. And they've almost all become Broadway shows now.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's kind of Disney's thing right now. They're going, we're making Broadway shows, and then we're going to make live-action versions of them all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah?
The Lion King
Tangled
one.
was never a Broadway show, right?
No.
Well, I like Tangled for what it is, but the songs aren't very memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't really remember much from it either.
I just remember
It's a fun movie.
to see
though.
the light. But at last I see the light. That's really it. But yeah, Frozen has become
Yeah, Frozen's kind of
that.
the thing.
And Moana has become
Moana.
big. With music by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I know.
I know, you know. You're like, how dare you?
Really? You're going to come up in here with that?
Coming to my house?
You come up in here with that weak sauce?
Yeah, How Far I'll Go, You're Welcome,
Yeah.
Shiny, just all
Yeah.
great singable
Yeah,
songs.
all great stuff. You're welcome. Wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
course
And we
I love
knew
The
The
Rock.
Rock could sing because we're WWE
That's
fans.
it.
I love that Jermaine Clement sings Shiny because he has a very David Bowie voice.
This is what we're going to be seeing at the end of the month. Victor
my
Fleming's
favorite
The
movie.
Wizard of Oz, another film musical that was adapted
To
to
the
the
stage.
stage. It's lovely. It's a classic tale.
It's my favorite movie.
Has catchy songs. Has a like vaudevillian feel to it.
Because they were all vaudevillians
Yeah.
who were in it.
And you break out Wizard of Oz, and it has to remind me of Wicked.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. What else we got?
Any musicals you don't like?
Oh, stuff that I don't like. Well, Moulin Rouge.
Other than Moulin Rouge.
We talked about that one. Love Never Dies. I mentioned that one already, too.
I don't know what I don't really like.
What's that?
Maybe because it's the movie version. I don't like Rent.
Rent?
Yeah,
no, I'm not a
never
huge
really
fan.
got
I tried.
The characters are unlikable.
Yeah, I just...
And
I don't
Idina
know.
Menzel was in the original Broadway cast,
She
wasn't
was. That's how she met Taye Diggs.
Oh,
They got married.
for the Flash fans here, the Joe West was in Rent originally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Didn't know he could sing, but he can.
Have they done in that CW DC universe, have they done a musical episode?
Yes, they have. It was a crossover for Flash and Supergirl.
Okay.
Because Grant Gustin and Melissa Benoist were both on Glee.
I wonder who was he on Glee?
He was in there for just like a cup of coffee, really. He was.
Oh, okay. Like I remember her on Glee. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, he wasn't one of the main people. He was in that other.
Was he a warbler?
Yes.
Oh, I know. Okay, I know which kid he is.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
So, yeah, so they did one, and the kid that played Blaine was
Darren
also
Criss?
on that episode.
Nice.
He played Music Meister, or whatever it is. I forget the DC character. So, yeah, so there's an episode, it's a musical episode where he, like, traps him in, like, a weird dream kind of thing, and they have to basically perform the musical to escape. They have to, like, go by the script.
So like his super science explains why everyone's suddenly singing.
Yeah, well, because it's in like this his magical kind of. No, you're just gonna do. You got in order to get through, you have to do this my way.
Meta-human powers. Yeah.
Yes, and it's really funny. It's really good, and also what's his name? He was on. He's on Legends of Tomorrow originally. He's not on there anymore. Victor Garber.
Oh, he has a fabulous voice.
Yes, he was in Godspell.
He
which
was
is another great one.
He was the original Antony in Sweeney Todd.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So, but he's also in there, and because he can sing. So they basically took all the cast of both shows who could actually sing and put them in this episode. But yeah, so they've done a musical episode.
There's a weird tradition, like a fairly modern tradition of like a regular like drama or comedy that suddenly just has a musical episode. Like they did one in Xena, Warrior Princess, and one for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy's probably like the most famous one.
Yeah.
Once More with Feeling.
Yes.
Mad Men did a slightly, or they did a send off for a character. The character died, but the actor was the original J. Pierpont Finch in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Oh,
so
okay.
Robert Morse. So he had it was a weird fantasy thing where he sang and danced, and it was really cool.
Clearly, there must be a Game of Thrones opera in the works.
Somewhere.
Awesome. There's a
Somewhere.
crazy Russian opera of Dragonlance.
Oh yeah, no, I saw part of that. That was great.
I know. It's weird because they're Russians, but
So it's automatically weird.
There's an opera that's performed somewhere in Scandinavia or throughout Scandinavia of the Klingon opera of Kalis the Unforgettable.
That's awesome. Oh, goodness.
Of course it is.
Because if you're a nerd and you got some resources, of course
You
it's
write
going to
an
happen.
opera in
Go for it.
Klingon.
And then, let's see, what else? I think, some modern ones like some really rock opera type stuff. I'm gonna rattle off some because we're almost out of time. Evita, which I love a lot. It's
Also
fantastic.
How modern are we talking about?
Yeah, just 80s-ish.
Okay.
Because
so-
Jesus Christ Superstar,
It was a rock
technically,
opera.
it's
And then-
I didn't want to be that
Yeah,
jerk.
no,
Tommy?
Like I said, yeah, the Who's Tommy, which is really good. If you can find the action, not the album that the Who does, but the musical, it's actually really cool. The acting's pretty good. Find the soundtrack to that. But unfortunately,
We're out of time.
we are just about out of time. This has been a lot of fun, guys. As big a nerd as I am, yes, I am a musical theater nerd. I admit it. I'm not ashamed.
No shame in that. No shame.
I'm Keith, and I love musical theater.
Hi, Keith. Welcome, Keith.
Well, thank you, everyone, for watching, or viewer. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. And keep being awesome.